Hey everybody, welcome back to Absolutely Marvel in DC. I'm Dylan, that is Hassan, and today we're going to be talking about Superman and Lois, Season 2, Episode 12. It's back from the about month-long hiatus. So last time...
fifth hiatus of the season, by the way.
These CW shows really just take breaks as soon as they can get them. So, quick recap. Last time, Superman told Lana Lang that he's Superman. Well, I guess Clark Kent told Lana Lang that he's Superman. And this episode is basically people screaming the whole time about that, and they destroy the pendant that allows people to merge from Bizarro World and this world. That's this episode. I really like the start of this episode, and then it slowly goes downhill and reminds me why I don't like CW shows.
Yeah.
Hassan, thoughts?
I liked more of it than you liked, but in general, I did feel the feeling of come on, guys. It was just a little bit slow. I think it's a building episode. It's purposeful, right? We had the John versus Jordan fight. The show was obviously not intended to take a month-long break in between these episodes, so I feel like we would have been fine with cooling off immediately after that fight the following week, but it's been a month, right? So we want to have some kind of plot, and we didn't get much. They really... I do think it's fair that this version of Lana is so hurt, and they did something I didn't expect them to do, where they talk about her feelings, like her romantic feelings towards Clark when they were younger, because they kind of downplay it. Whenever Lois Lane gets introduced, you forget about Lana Lang. Who cares? Lana was Clark's first love, and that holds a really special place in his heart. So Lana's whole little speech with Clark, did you ever love me? Did you ever actually love me? Oh, but just not enough.
I think that was very well done.
It was
that
super
whole
well
opening
done.
Was perfect, I think.
Aces across the board. That actress has she's really good at scenes like that. She has, now that she's been getting more agency and more material this season, it's been really fun to see her flex her muscles as an actress. So I like that stuff. I didn't mind Talro. Emmanuel Ricci.
Ricci, okay. I wanted to give her credit, but I was like, how do you say
Nina
that?
Dobrev, but older and hotter, even though Nina Dobrev is also just a very attractive woman who's also a fully grown adult.
Every episode.
I do, but do you deny it?
I think I say that you say this every episode.
And do you deny me any episode? Have you ever once thought something different? Nope.
She's very pretty.
Yeah,
we are
consistent.
And
they're great. The Tal Rose stuff was interesting. I don't mind it because I do think that Superman in the comics, Superman in every media has always wanted a Kryptonian brother. So he needs Kryptonian family. It's kind of nice. You can expect that the moment he turned good that he was on the chopping block, though.
I like that. I like that Superman, this Clark Kent, is still so despite how much his brother screws him over, he knows there's still a shred of good in him. So he'll still go back and try to bring him back to the light, especially right after seeing that they were so buddy in Bizarro World. Yeah. That's cool. I like that. I love kind of
holding the flowers.
Yeah, that was so goofy. That for me, I was like, why is he holding I think it was to hide the handcuffs for some reason, but that was silly. That's the silliness that I'm okay with in this episode. What I really did not like about this episode, the stuff that really I abhorred just completely, was the writing, and not how the episode flows and how it's written overall, plot-wise. I don't like the plot of the season at all. But the actual dialogue and the references that every character randomly makes throughout this episode is so bizarre and doesn't feel human at all. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
I don't, but I watched this.
Really?
I watched it 3 a.m. last night, so I'm not entirely sure. References to pop culture and media, or
yeah,
I don't remember.
There's a lot in this episode specifically. They do a lot of reference humor, sort of, in this, where Kyle comes in to Sarah. Sarah's playing the guitar.
Oh, she says Olivia Rodrigo, and then Billie Eilish.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, that one of those new Olivia Rodrigo songs." And then later, he's like, Billie Eilish got discovered when she was 11 years old. And it's like, why are you It felt very a lot of the references. They reference Greta Thunberg. It's he's talking about climate control. He just followed Greta Thunberg on Twitter.
I don't know if you guys you didn't.
Not for me.
I thought that was so funny because it's how else are they gonna explain away that Jonathan's just a nihilistic, the world's ending anyways. Who cares? He just followed
that one. At least
girl.
made sense in context. Yeah. There was
it was
the one where they were in the they were Natalie shows
the suit, and he's
John
like, "Oh,
and,
it's something
and,
about the PS5."
Yeah, John and Jordan her suit, and they're like, "This is the coolest toy ever, and we have the PS5," and it's like, what?
Yeah,
huh?
It feels like specifically this episode, and I should probably look up who directed it. Specifically,
I think it was the writer, because that's dialogue. Like, that's not a director's not going to put that in for the most part. She Rena Mimoon, I don't know how to pronounce her name completely, but she's written 2 episodes this season. The other one was "Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon," which I think was the quinceañera episode, which also had some pretty rough dialogue in it.
Okay,
I believe that is the episode that made Dan stop watching this show.
It is.
So.
He got he physically
couldn't bear through the cringiness of it.
No.
So. Dan's shaking his head off camera right now.
Yeah, it's the references are really weird. I did feel really like I don't like that Olivia Rodrigo is canon in a world with Superman, and I love Olivia Rodrigo. Like I'm genuinely
it's
like
weird,
a huge
right?
fan.
Like you don't
it's super
like
weird.
My problem with it is like it's these real world things that like it feels like a 40-year-old man. Like I know it's like not a man who wrote this episode, but like it feels like a person, like an old person who went on Twitter and looked at what was trending and then wrote that into the script. So it just kind of feels like disingenuous and like really trying to like, hey, how do you do, fellow kids? Like it feels weird to me, and it just pulled me out of the show in a way that this show normally doesn't like pull me out of. Like I don't need my Superman show to reference the PS5. I don't need my Superman show to like suddenly be talking about Billie Eilish. Like that's too real.
For me, it didn't honestly affect me that much. I remember like thinking Olivia Rodrigo one was kind of funny. But then other than that, I didn't think much of it. I just kind of moved on with the plot. I love the Kent sibling dynamic, or like the Kent Lane, whatever, Henry, Irons.
Yeah, sort of like,
family.
What's that movie? Shit, Stand By Me.
Stand By Me. Yeah, Stand By Me. Going off an adventure. I mean, I love those 3 together because they are all siblings. Like, they actually are siblings. One of them's half, but they're still biological siblings, DNA siblings, whether they were raised by the same woman.
Multiversal siblings, I guess.
Yeah.
it's kind of a jump.
When Natalie is being fun, she's actually really fun.
She's good in this
poor
episode,
actress gets such bad material in other episodes where she's just like petulant, very like constantly upset character.
Constantly.
And then when she's happy, she's like she's looking out for Jordan with Sarah, and then she's taking them on this adventure, and then she's like, John, I think this suit makes more sense for you. And it's like, what? That's great. You're great. Thank you for that. And the actress is really good. I like her a lot on screen. I think she's she has like a charm and a charisma when she's not being a downer. And her father is my favorite actor on the show. I love him.
Wole Parks and Tyler Hoechlin both are like class acts. Like
oh my God,
I want them in a movie. Like they are fantastic together on screen.
They're so good. I'd love to see him in like the real steel suit instead of like I know it's like the real steel suit is camp as all hell suit? As well. Yeah, instead of the Dune suit, just because I want him to have more. He's so awesome, and like the fight scene we get later in the episode where he like, I love the hammer. I love that he just throws a hammer at people and it works all the time.
I don't know why it really seemed like they just didn't bother to track the graphics when he's in the suit when they shoot him like Iron Man style. That looks really bad. Like for a studio that's done this before, I can do that better in like a minute.
It looked really clunky this episode specifically. I was like, what are you doing?
The CG in this episode is off for some reason, which I would assume they're taking these hiatuses because they need more time to like for production. Yeah. I don't actually know that, but like that's what I've already always assumed. So it's weird that I feel like the Doom Guy's suit especially has looked the worst this episode.
I think it's specifically they have like budget allocations per episode, and that some just get a worse hand than others. So I think that this was just on the lower totem pole because like last episode, the episode before, Jordan versus Jonathan, that looked amazing. That looked like what I dreamed. When I was a kid, that's what Smallville looked like in my brain. It doesn't look like that now.
Sure.
We're on a rewatch of it currently in the Kader household. And
that's a good point. Because especially in this episode, when Jordan and other Jonathan are fighting, like that looks pretty good. But in this episode, like we see Allie, like it's like Flash levels of CG, like moving around in the air. It looks horrible.
I hate Allie.
I hate her. I'm so glad you hate her.
Oh my
too.
God. I can't have
waste.
Bro, I don't want to see another villain that has slick back greaser hair and wears like a black fucking trench coat, dude. I'm good. They did that in Smallville. Michael Rosenbaum talks about that all the time. He goes, oh my God, they put me in these Matrix cloaks and I'd act like it was a cape and they made me Zod. Like, why the fuck am I Zod? It was really funny. You guys should watch. It's called Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. He's an incredible podcast where he talks about the show all the time. But yeah, it's like Allie looks stupid. I hate her glasses. I hate her slick back hair. She's an asshole. I hate her.
It's like she's Karen, the supervillain. Like I don't.
Yeah.
What
I
Superman
thought at first
is a character that has 1 trillion supervillains that are way more interesting than just this white lady who you've made the impetus of your plot. It's boring.
Yup. And we haven't even had... I don't think this Superman has faced his Zod yet, because we had like a touch of Zod last season, or a couple... Was it this season? Remember Zod took over someone's... Zod himself took over someone's body.
That's right. That was... Yeah, we got some Zod. Zod took over...
Clark. I think it was Clark's body, actually.
Clark. That's right.
Yeah, he took over Clark. Right.
But I think there were also, like, early on, I remember there were theories. I think Dan and I talked about early on that, like, maybe Morgan Edge was, like, actually Zod. Turned out to be Tal-Rho.
I think that came up, and Dan and I talked about that in our reviews. I don't dislike Tal-Rho. Like, it's different, and it feels like, why don't you just use the lead in the mythos? Like, why don't you just use Zod? I don't know. They did it in Smallville, and it sucked. Like, in Smallville, they actually did something very cool by the finale.
It's also different. Right, like General Zod is not like traditionally a brother to Superman. Like he's mostly just like a terraforming antagonist. Like like they wanted to do something different, clearly, which is why I get that. But then, like,
they actually do that. They do that version of Zod in Smallville. So what they do is in the earlier seasons they have the unembodied, like, evil Zod from the Phantom Zone's soul come to Earth. He takes over Lex Luthor's body, a bunch of stuff happens, and then he gets imprisoned back in the Phantom Zone. But that's like the old man Zod. And then later in season 8 they have like these clones of the Kandorians come back, and it includes like a young cadet Zod. Like, he's not the general yet, and he's best friends with Jor-El. He's kind of evil and scummy, and he ends up being the villain. But like for a while, you get him and Clark have a really nice brotherly dynamic, and they're really good friends. And then in the finale of the show, they go to the Phantom Zone. They actually ended up imprisoning the body of this young Zod, and it merges with the mind of the other one. So there's 2 lifespans that both hate Superman equally. It's awesome. It's actually really cool. So that kind of felt like when I was first watching Tal-Rho, I felt like that it reminded me of that dynamic from the old Superman and Lois show, if you will. Superman and Lana Lang, and then Lois, and then several other girls in between. That Clark was a player.
That's something. I feel like bringing up Smallville a lot in this episode makes sense, because I feel like that whole like kind of flashback scene where Lana's talking about like, so you're the reason why all that weird stuff happened here. You can definitely headcanon Smallville into happening before this show.
Yeah, like a lot of it. You could find a line and be like, okay, this part forward, it doesn't make sense anymore. Yeah. But a lot of it is like, it's fun.
Supergirl shows up and it's weird in Smallville. Like that's not gonna line up at all.
Yeah. No. Well, that and like Jonathan and Martha. Like in this one, Jonathan dies a lot earlier, I guess, in Superman and Lois. And I love that he's like, my mom didn't want me to use my powers. My dad was gone, and I didn't know what to do anymore. I love that explanation. She goes, "Why didn't you come back for me?" I did. You were with Kyle. And then she's right. You should have said something to me. You obviously don't want to like break up somebody but like telling them the truth after.
That is a huge gray area.
I get it. And like, yo, man, damn, Clark, I love Bitsy Tulloch, actually. I like Lois a lot, and I like their family, so I'm fine with him not ending up with Lana Lang. But this one really feels like a Lana Lang that could have really used her Clark Kent, because she ended up in such a terrible situation after that. She ended up with, terrible guy, who now has a beard and he's good guy stepdad. They tried to give us the 180 this episode of him talking with his mistress, and he's like, oh my god, is he taking her to meet the mistress?
But I did it for good.
I did it for the good thing. Yeah, she's pretty broken up about the whole thing. And she's like, yeah, dad, she should
weird
be.
like I get that that's like a nice gesture to do for your daughter, but like if I was Sarah, I'd be like, no, I don't have anything prepared. I don't have like a this.
Where's my set list, Dad?
Yeah, I don't have.
Did you bring my acoustic guitar from home? I tuned like it.
40-year-olds in this bar. They're not gonna like my music.
Yeah, I I think I actually skipped the ending. Like I skipped her singing because I didn't really want to cringe. I didn't know if it was gonna be bad or good. I'm sure she's actually.
It's good. Like it's.
Okay,
I mean, the lyrics are like whatever. They're like obviously they came up with them in 3 seconds. She's great, and if that is her singing, it sounded like it was actually her singing. Then it sounds fine.
It's awesome. We didn't touch on the Lana's inevitable like ending reaction where she's done being mad. She wants to cut the Kents off, which I
think that's fair. I think that's the only like her arc in this episode is kind of really strange to me because she starts off, she's okay with Clark lying to her, but she's really pissed that Lois lied to her, which the way that she explains it, I understand. But then at the end of the episode, she kind of is now doing the same exact thing that Lois was doing to her own family. Yeah. So it's weird that like she's okay with that.
And it's like I don't think the secret is as big of a deal as they make it in most of these shows, but specifically here, it's like, okay, I get not wanting Kyle Cushing to know, right? Dude's on a weird thing, right? But the little daughter, like, when is she gonna need to know? She's a child.
Yeah.
Lie to children. We do that. That's part of the American household, the nuclear family. If you're not lying to your kids,
Sarah should definitely know.
Yeah, Sarah.
Like, that would solve a lot of issues.
and that felt like a very hack me plot point where she's like, I don't think you should be in my life anymore. And I was like, dude, that's so sad. Because Lois just went on this whole thing about how important she is to her.
It seems like it's just for a minute, for like a bit, so that she can, because she says like it's gonna hurt for a while, but I'll get over it eventually, and then like stay out of my life until I'm over it.
I didn't think it was stay out of my life till over it. I think she said stay out of my life. Like she said, I will get over it and I won't be upset at you guys anymore, but try to stay out of my life, clean break anyways, because we can't be family friends. I can't have you around because every time you're here, I have to lie to Sarah. Why are Lois and
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why the Lana like arc here doesn't really make sense to me, because like what's the point? If you're gonna lie to everyone, then
Sarah's gonna find out at the end of the season. They're building towards Superwoman Lana coming here and doing some fuck shit, and then we'll have we'll have the inevitability of it. So that's exciting. I like this show, and in this episode, while it was bad, it is still masterclass in television compared to Flash. It is so much better than anything else, and the dynamics made me enjoy it. Like Sam Lane and John Henry together as a duo is really funny because that is his old father-in-law. Like that literally is a guy he knows. And then John Henry at the end where he's like, "You guys are gonna stay? Come on with me with dinner. Let's hang out. Like anything interesting happens, go to." Like that actor makes me so happy when he's on screen. Like I wanted, since him and Jonathan had their like little buddy arc in the end of the first season, I've been really hoping for more scenes of John and John Henry together, the Johns, if you will. It's great, and I'm hoping this guy like he gets to date Lana or something like that. I want him to have a love interest that's not Lois, so we could get past that at some point. I don't
think he needs a love interest. He's good.
The only reason I think he needs one,
he's being a good dad.
He's a great dad. I think a love interest would be great because then we could just never have another scene where he looks at Lois anything like other weirdly than my old pal. Yeah, I don't love those, but I think they make sense.
They could just not do that anymore.
Yeah, but it's like, dude, he was married to a version of her for like a decade and has a daughter with her, and she looks and acts identical, but she's married to a different guy. So like, it's tough. But God, this was a lackluster episode, and I still had fun, and I had fun talking about it.
The show's a roller coaster. Like almost every other episode it's like it's my favorite show, the best portrayal of Superman, and then it's like, whoa, what are you doing? You've lost me, and then it's back.
But they never, as far as the best portrayal of Superman, it never stops being that though.
No, Tyler Hoechlin is always good. No matter what.
Tyler Hoechlin is my Superman, definitively.
Absolutely.
He is it. Tom Welling is my Superboy. Brandon Routh is my Kingdom Come Superman. Tyler Hoechlin is just classic. He's the guy in blue.
Tyler Hoechlin is Superman.
The current guy. He's great. And in Superman or in Supergirl, he used to get in like fights and have like one bang come down, and he looked incredible, like disheveled. Please let him be disheveled. His hair looks awesome if you just let it play out a little bit. Other than that, he looks iconic. And he's been getting so built for this role. You can see that they're slowly removing more and more muscle padding from that suit because Tyler Hoechlin is filling it out, which is awesome. Superman. He's such a beefcake, man. It's sick. I love it. It's not just the attractive older women in the show. It's the attractive older men that I'm about. Look at him. everyone on the show is actually very like attractive. Like all
this
the whole
is the
cast.
CW. Everyone has to be a knockout.
They do because like John Henry and Clark. Like I see why Lois married the both of them. I get it. They're both knockout superhero men.
That's fair.
But I'm excited for the next episode. I'm really excited to have some consistency with the show and like wrap up the season soon. I do think that this was a weaker decision for a story arc, especially coming off of such a great opening in season 1. And I'm hoping that they make a better decision going into season 3 as far as like what the narrative is, who the villain is,
like
and
what the plot is.
Yeah.
Because this show shines when it's not focused on its plot. Like I like this episode when it's not talking about Allie and Bizarro World and the pendant and everything. When it's just these characters interacting, I really like the show. But it's just, and I kind of feel the same way about season 1. Also, is when it's dragged down by its plot, it shows its kind of belly and isn't that great. So yeah, I agree. I hope season 3 does good in that department.
I really do. And also I heard that they are going to be sometime in the next couple episodes going to be explaining why, like where the connection to the Arrowverse is, because I know a lot of people are really interested in that.
Yeah, I heard that as well.
John Diggle came in last season and he was still clearly our John Diggle, but he was kind of like you could. There's obviously another John Diggle and there's another Oliver that died.
It's because they were trying to set up Green Lantern. And it's still not coming, so
his show didn't get picked up this season. Heroes Academy, it didn't get picked up by the CW. They did a pilot for it and it didn't work out.
That makes sense.
So we'll see. I want John Diggle. It's weird that they haven't done him as Green Lantern yet. I'd like to see it soon. But he also lives in Metropolis now, which I think is great. Superman and Lois really does completely take place in Smallville, but I think eventually it will graduate to Metropolis because it always kind of does. It'll be a couple seasons from now, but even Smallville did Smallville for 5 seasons, and then it was Clark commuting back and forth. He lived in the same set in the Kent farm, but he would run like miles. It was awesome.
I love that set. His bedroom in the barn.
Oh my god,
that's a great set.
They used that in Superman and Lois, or they originally did. The OG outside of the house scenes they're all shot on the same farm, which is like. Nice. Man, for me, that farm holds such a resonance in it because the very first Elseworlds crossover where you meet Tyler Hoechlin Superman with like Oliver and Barry, like he gets to meet everybody.
Right.
They actually open with the Smallville theme song. Oliver opens up a breach and it was incredible. And then they used the same B-roll shots of Vancouver, calling it Kansas, which I love. But this show's great. I love this show. I'm excited for more of this. I get why Dan doesn't watch this show. I respect his choices. That's fair. But I like it a lot.
All right, cool. Well, stay tuned. Are we no hiatus? We're back on track.
We're no hiatus. We're back on track. Yeah, we're chilling. Episode for episode.
Yeah. So next week, episode 13 of Superman and Lois. Other than that, I have been Dylan. That is Hassan, and this is Absolutely Marvel and DC. Stay tuned to the channel for more content coming at you real soon.
Yes, sir.